you were telling me about your, I don't know what you call it, your prayer area
Yeah.
behind the fence over there. What do you refer to it as again? It's where you wrestle with God,
Yeah,
or yeah.
it's a wrestling mat, and you're welcome to take a picture or two of it before you leave if you want to do an insert. Yeah, it's a great place to wrestle with God. I I brought in about 3 inches of sand so I can throw myself on the ground and get really whiny and dramatic with him. Uh, but yeah, we have some great conversations there, and some great arguments, and a lot of laughs. A
Yeah.
lot of laughs. It's like, of course. Why didn't you bother telling me? Why didn't you bother listening?
Yeah.
Well, there is that. Yes, there is.
Mm.
So yeah, yeah. So prayer for me is not irreverent, uh, because you know he's who he is, but it really is talking to my dad, who sometimes I think gets me in a headlock and a knuckle thing on my head, saying, "Come on, Bill." All right. So,
Yeah.
but it really is, and maybe that's what I sense. Maybe what some of the differences between me and other people. It's nothing I've generated on my own, but just this intimacy, continual intimacy. Um, having to be careful not to be talking out loud in public but then they just think I'm on the cell phone, so I'm okay with that now too.
Right. Right. Yeah. How long has prayer been like that for you? As long as you can remember? As long as
Just about. I think when I got really serious, back in this, I'll just say yes to whatever you want. That's when I started to talk back a little bit,
yeah.
and which I think he appreciates. It's either that or silence, or worse of all, uh, confining him to being a religious entity. So I think the relationship began when I started talking back a little bit. Look, I know I said yes, but come on. So I think it just started to grow from there.
Yeah.
Also, I'm so I have such low aptitude, if that's the right word. Um, I'm not very smart, so I have to rely on him a lot. And I always come out sounding like a genius, but nobody knows the internal monologue, which is okay. Got it. Kind of. Oh, okay. That's good. Thank you. So again, I think the keys to my success are I'm a crybaby, I'm a coward, I'm a loser, but I'm just somebody that says yes all the time, even when I'm sure he's lost control of reality.
What led to you making that commitment?
Two things. I was bored with Christianity. The second thing was a girl I dated for 3 years in high school dumped me. So I had to make a decision to either kill myself or to say yes to God 100% of the time. And so apparently I made the right decision.
Mm.
But yeah, so it was, my folks were getting a divorce. My girlfriend that I dated for 3 years was dropping me. It's my first year in college. So there was all this emotional stuff going on. And the only anchor was God. So big storm, but a bigger rock that I just clung to and got through it with that agreement.
How has your wrestling with God and your prayer evolved over the decades?
Now I'm not asking why. Now I'm asking how. Instead of, why are you doing this? Now my response is, okay, so how can I get with the program and accomplish what you're trying to accomplish? You see the difference? One is questioning him, questioning his authority, questioning his godness, and the other is, okay, I don't get you, but I trust you. So show me how. So I don't ask why anymore. I ask how.
Interesting. So you just kind of don't need to know why. just
Would prefer it.
yeah, yeah.
And make that known too. But it's like, okay, you know, over 50 years of saying yes like this, okay, all righty then.
I know from what you've told me, you like to take an interest in younger people who are getting into television, film, etc. What what types of things do you like to impart to them?
But relationship is more important than accomplishment. That, I mean, the Bible says it best, right? Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and everything else happens. It really does. It's a backwards way of thinking. Don't blame me for it. It's this upside down kingdom of God business. But as you seek him, things fall into place. Seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you. By all, he doesn't necessarily mean, the poisons. Maybe he's not going to give you heroin, even though you're begging for it. But all the good stuff you get. He can't help himself.
What do you feel like they're typically seeking when they come to you, the younger generations?
Sometimes success. But I think, as you're in my case, uh, what can I learn from somebody that's been walking this long and this intimately with God? Um, yeah, yeah. It started, and not in your case, but a lot of times people say, "Well, how do we get successful?" But yours, in my case, it was, we both have what's that, deep calling unto deep. So there's a depth that people sense in me, and those that are seeking depth. And I'm not. Right? We're talking depth compared to the paper thinness of our Christian culture, uh, I'm a genius.
And is that because, like you said earlier, just because you're willing? Do you think because you were saying, well, first of all, just back to your resolution of always saying yes to God. I think there's a lot and a lot and a lot of Christians who would call themselves believers and maybe are, but haven't made that resolve.
Yeah.
And so why do you think that is?
Fear and misrepresentation. I think people that present Christ to people misrepresent him, not intentionally, but here, whether they present him superficially, whether they present him as here's somebody you can manipulate to get what you want, uh, but also just the fear of not trusting him, because he's a scary dude, right? He's just like, every time we say, God, which is it, A or B? He says, oranges. I'm sorry, what? Because we don't even know how to ask the right questions. So, of course, that's fear. But what's the Bible verse? Perfect love casts out all fear. I'm not afraid of where he's taking me now. I've got some preferences, but I'm not afraid because of that perfect love that's just pushed out the fear. There's no room for the fear. But that love doesn't come unless it comes from a relationship, right? It's not like, yeah, give me your love now. But it comes from that time of trusting and questioning and being angry and always having him prove himself. Not because I'm demanding he prove himself, but just because he's faithful regardless of the storms.